Okay, we're recording now, and now it's for real. There's no take backsies after this. Every screw up is permanently recorded and published for the whole world to see. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Love it. Um, so, how do we want to introduce what we're doing here? I would say really the main goal of this page was to create a space where it's kind of like a book club. For some weird reason, I'm going to be doing the first reading today, but really I kind of set out to create this for my sister, Caleb, sitting right there. Let this be kind of her domain so that she could just ultimately just read. For example, today, if you can see it, we're reading. There we go. The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charlie Mackery. Is it Mackery or Mackesy? Wow,
Let me see.
it makes me feel terrible not knowing.
Look.
That's permanent. That's out there forever. That I didn't know the author to the book I was about to read.
Oh shoot.
Maybe-
Okay,
oh,
no,
is
it's Mackesy for sure
It's
because
Mac-
they do the R different.
Maxie, maybe I should just Google it real quick.
Mackesy.
Charlie Yeah, it's Mackesy for sure. Yeah, 100%. All right, I'm glad we cleared that up. But really, so that she could just read. You guys could have discussions about what's being read, or even just open discussions about anything. The reading needs to be paused. And then you guys could select the books that are going to be read next. We set sub goals. A couple ideas that I had was maybe at 75 subs or 50, or not like sky high numbers, but maybe have a little poetry contest or things like that. Michaela loves fanfics as well, especially of video games. She's currently reading a cyberpunk fanfic. So that's on the that's on the list too of things that could be read. So I guess without further ado, get into reading. The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charlie Mackesy. Got it that time. It's actually very I don't know. It's very artistic in here, and I don't know. It just looks cool. The font definitely follows into the book this style, which makes it. I don't know. It's just cool looking.
The style is interesting. It reminds me of animation drafts.
Definitely. Here, this is legitimately page one, which is, it's different. It's unique. It's not Times New Roman size 12 where I'm blowing my brains out looking at it. But yeah, let's get started. This book is dedicated to my lovely, kind mum and my wonderful dog, Dill. That's cool. Hello. You started at the beginning, which is impressive. I usually start in the middle and never read introductions. It's surprising that I've made a book because I'm not good at reading them. The truth is, I need pictures. They are like islands, places to get to in a sea of words. This book is for everyone, whether you are 80 or 8. I feel like I'm both sometimes. I get that. I'd like it to be one you can dip into anywhere, anytime. Start in the middle if you like. Scribble on it, crease the corners, and leave it well thumbed. The drawings are mainly of a boy, a mole, a fox, and a horse. I'll tell you a little bit about them, although I'm sure you'll see things here that I don't, so I'll be quick. The boy is lonely when the mole first surfaces. They spend time together, gazing into the wild. I think the wild is a bit like life, frightening sometimes, but beautiful. In their wanderings, they meet the fox. It's never going to be easy meeting a fox if you're a mole. The boy is full of questions, the mole is greedy for cake, the fox is mainly silent and wary because he's been hurt by life. Kind of feel like the fox already. Kind of relate to him. I just met him. Or was introduced to him, I guess. The horse is the biggest thing they have ever encountered, and also the gentlest. They are all different, like us, and each has their own weaknesses. I can see myself in all four of them, perhaps you can too. Their adventures happen in springtime, where one moment snow is falling and the sun shines the next, which is also a little bit like life. It can turn on a sixpence. Like surprise, sixpence. I hope this book encourages you, perhaps to live courageously with more kindness for yourself and for others, and to ask for help when you need it, which is always a brave thing to do. When I was making the book, I often wondered, who on earth am I to be doing this? But as the horse says, the truth is everyone is winging it. So I say, spread your wings and follow your dreams. This book is one of mine. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy it, and much love to you. Okay, that's kind of weird. Like it has like a little dot above it. I hope you enjoy it, and much love to you. Thank you, Charlie. So that was that's the introduction.
Honestly, it's very wholesome, very humble.
Definitely. And you mentioned that later on we want to put the link like on here to where you could go and purchase the book. Michaela brought up that the author wants this particular book to be like for you to read it and then to basically bless somebody else with the book. Like they shouldn't have to go buy this one in particular. Like his whole desire was that this book got handed down to, I guess as many times as necessary. In a way, reading this is like handing it down to you. I don't know, from here, but we got a little boy sitting there. And he says, "Hello." "I am so small," said the mole. "Yes," said the boy, "but you make a huge difference." "What do you want to be when you grow up?" "Kind," said the boy. "What do you think success is?" asked the boy. "To love," said the mole. "Well, hello," the mole, kind of looking at some cake there. "Do you have a favorite saying?" asked the boy. "Yes," said the mole. "What is it?" "If at first you don't succeed, have some cake." "I see. Does it work?" "Every time." Just a tiny taste. As you can see, he clearly did not just have a tiny taste. "I got you a delicious cake," said the mole. "Did you?" "Yes." "Where is it?" "I ate it," said the mole. "Oh, but I got you another." "Did you? Where's that one?" The same thing seems to have happened.
So real.
Totally. Absolutely. "What do you think is the biggest waste of time?" "Comparing yourself to others," said the mole.
What are you really getting from that?
Comparing yourself to others? Depression?
Yeah, like you're really not getting anything good at any point, so you really are just wasting your time.
Yeah, for sure. I'd agree. Right. Yeah. Whether you're comparing to people that you think are above you or comparing to people that you think are below you, I think both are equally a waste of time.
Yeah, I would argue if you're drawing inspiration in a way that isn't crippling, that might be beneficial, but I think that you're not really comparing at that point. You're just standing in awe of someone and feeling like you want to be like them and emulate them. You're not like, dang, I really suck and they're really good, and leaving it at that.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, the way in which you are comparing. And in that case, it sounds more like you are um, trying to find inspiration more than you are trying to find comparison,
Yeah.
which, yeah, is significantly more healthy, I would think. Um, Especially if you're choosing to, like, a person that is wholesome and, like, quality, you know? I guess in my mind, that I would see as wholesome and a quality, like, worthwhile individual to learn from and try to emulate their whatever.
Absolutely. Like when I was first starting learning the violin, I would get so discouraged
Mm.
listening to like high schoolers play when I was in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm never gonna be that good. I suck. Until like a high schooler offered to tutor me for their volunteer hours,
Mm-hmm.
needed to graduate,
Mm-hmm.
and when they took the time to be like, okay, here's how I do it, and I'll break it down for you, and now you give it a try, I was like, oh, it is possible for me to be like them.
Yeah, for sure.
But somebody really had to go out of their way to be like, you can do this.
You know, it's interesting because my coworker and I, like, were just talking about this today when it comes to the gym. Like, he was saying that a lot of the reason he doesn't like going to the gym is because he sees these other people in the gym who take it so seriously that he doesn't like working out around other people, but
Mm.
doesn't have the same equipment at home because he feels like he's being judged or he's not on the same level or may never be on the same level. So it's like he feels, I don't know, intimidated. So it almost makes him not want to go.
Yeah.
Um, and he even mentioned that, like, if somebody were to come over to me and just be like, hey, you know, bro, your form is off on this, like, you should do it this way, or, you know, if you're trying to get this muscle, do this instead, you know, like, he would feel a lot more confident in returning to whatever gym he was trying to go to. But
Right, isn't that so interesting? Because when you're at the gym seeing people fuck up, like, you feel like you can't tell them, like, you feel like you can't help them without coming across as, like, a douchebag.
right,
But
right,
there are people out there that are humble, that do welcome, like, critique and encouragement. Like,
mm,
you just assume that, like, every male that goes to the gym has a high ego and doesn't want to be approached. It's just not, like, the reality of, like, the men that are going there. That's not really their mindset. Like, these are people that want to get better.
well, you hope, right,
Yeah,
right,
like for the most part, I don't think that every guy that's super buff that goes and works out at the gym has a high ego. I don't think that at all.
yeah.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, it is kind of sad that that's just like the assumption, you know,
Yeah.
like, because I would look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was, you know, Mr. Universe.
Yeah.
Uh, he didn't seem like he had a crazy ego. You know, he seemed, by all accounts, from what I could tell, like an enjoyable human being. I still like watching him on movies. You know, and he would be. I'd put him at the top of that manly guy at the gym. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Just I find it does suck that, like, we can hold ourselves back from doing something just simply by comparing ourselves to somebody who might be better at it and think I can't be that, you know. So why even I might as well just let the fear of striking out keep me from playing the game, basically,
Yeah. Exactly.
which
I think
makes it a
that's
waste of time.
yeah. There's a lesson to be learned here, and the two lessons I would take out of this is one, don't like just give it a go. Like be brave, and you'll see that like it is worth it to do. Just
Definitely.
give it one try,
Hmm.
and you'll see it's not so bad. And the other is if you do find yourself in a scenario where you see somebody doing something you have a passion for
Hmm.
and that they like you know exactly what would help them to like do it a little bit better,
Hmm.
like be brave then too and
Yeah.
give it a go and try because you will be surprised at how open and welcome people are to that for the most part.
Yeah. I agree with that. And, like, how do I put this? Like, I think a lot of people are also so desperate to put their personal touch, like, and like I'm not saying like permanently engrave their personal touch into the universe, but like put their personal touch out there in the universe. And there's a fear there that doing so is not going to be so well received. Like I'm going to shut myself down because it just might not be as awesome as I think it is. And I think what you're saying is on its own, whether or not it's accepted by whoever you're sharing it with, it doesn't make it any less awesome. Just be brave and do it. And if they shut it down, it's not a reflection of you and how awesome you are. It's just that they weren't quite ready to receive whatever you had to say, and that's all it is. It doesn't make you any less incredible for your own.
Extending help, like that's always going to be a good thing to do. That's always something you should feel good about having tried to do.
Definitely.
Walking out of a situation.
For sure. You want to keep going?
Yeah.
Or is there more on that you want to share?
No, I guess I feel like I don't agree with it being a waste of time always, which is kind of a hot take, so I feel like I should say that.
I guess it clarifying the way it could be the biggest waste of time, like the type of comparison you're trying to do, and how that would be a waste of time versus what wouldn't be, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I wonder if there is a school of unlearning. Most of the old moles I know wish they had listened less to their fears and more to their dreams. So, kind of what we were just, talking about, I guess.
Oh.
What is it?
Video isn't working on the stream.
Oh. Really? How long has it not been working for?
Oh, just for a second. I think it might have been my phone actually.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. Is it back?
Yep.
Back and working? Okay. What is that over there? It is the wild, said the mole. Don't fear it. I'll show you. That's the drawing for the wild right there. Kind of Lion King-esque. Imagine how we would be if we were less afraid. Also, like, absolutely what we were just talking about too.
Yeah, just being brave.
And then it looks like, I think maybe this is like a little, like what would be considered a chapter break, because it looks like we're going to introduce the fox here in a moment. I don't know, I'll make it an assumption, but.
The winter is here.
Yeah. I'm not afraid, said the mole. If I wasn't caught in this snare, I'd kill you, said the fox. If you stay in that snare, you will die, said the mole. So the mole chewed through the wire with his tiny teeth. One of our greatest freedoms is how we react to things. That's literally just this page. So
that one makes me think that the author has definitely read about the guy who survived Auschwitz.
Oh yeah, shoot, it's not coming to me right now.
I know.
There's a lot of I don't know. You would have a lot of therapeutic and mental health field and just philosophical viewpoints on this, like dating. You could look at stoicism or literally just so many different viewpoints on this
specific idea.
Yeah, that your reaction is pretty much entirely in your control.
It's like the only thing that you can count on always being in your control.
And that is the gift of freedom and choice that you were given before you ever even got here, I guess, depending on how you see that. I've learned how to be in the present. How? Asked the boy. I find a quiet spot and shut my eyes and breathe. That's good. And then I focus. What do you focus on? Cake, said the mole. Isn't it odd? We can only see our outsides, but nearly everything happens on the inside. Accurate. Be careful not to fall. Oh, it looks like this drawing is the fox falling in. I can't really. Yeah, it looks like the fox falling into the water. So much beauty we need to look after. Kind of intrigued by that, actually. Just pause for a second. I can't really tell if when they say so much beauty we need to look after, if they're talking about like the wild, as in the world, or considering they were just like talking about everything happening inside, like looking after your own internal beauty, or both. I wish that Charlie was here to elaborate a little bit, you know. Being kind to yourself is one of the greatest kindnesses, said the mole. So clearly, I guess they're talking like the internal beauty. We often wait for kindness, but being kind to yourself can start now, said the mole. Often, the hardest person to forgive is yourself. And if that isn't the truest thing, I don't know what is. Sometimes I feel lost, said the boy. Me too, said the mole. But we love you, and love brings you home. I think everyone is just trying to get home, said the mole. Hello. It appears that we have now met the horse. Hello. You're looking up at him. Jeez. 1 second. It's blown up too much. A little too annoying right now. Doing nothing with friends is never doing nothing, is it? Asked the boy. No, said the mole. And it appears they're like just kind of getting familiar with the horse. Like they're realizing they can like stand on the horse and pet the horse and just hang out. And then we have like some more actions that they're doing with the horse here. Like they're riding, jumping things, running, playing music, maybe creating music. And then it says, you fell, but I've got you. So, the horse, the boy, see, come on, there you go. You fell, but I got you. Everyone is a bit scared, said the horse. But we are less scared together. Tears fall for a reason, and they are your strength, not weakness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's like reflecting that you care deeply about something, that something is important to you.
Definitely. And I think that, like, for a male to write that, because in my like experience so far in life is that outward expressions of like internal whatever's in the shape of crying is just not like it's not seen as manly. It's seen as weakness, basically. But in my opinion, like it's like never showing weakness and choosing to never show weakness carries like literally no promise whatsoever. Like trying to bottle yourself up and not cry and not show that you care about things is like I don't know, I think it's so much more rewarding to actually like sit with the emotion, and if you gotta hourly express it, express it. And I realize that's coming from somebody who's maybe cried 5 or 6 times total in my life. And but trust me, I wish like if somehow my tear ducts just like would work sometimes. Like I would love for that to happen. I've even sat and like tried to force it to happen, but it's not for lack of wanting. It's just I don't know. I guess some people see things differently or like have outward expression differently, but none of it makes you weak.
What
That's what I'm trying to say.
The last thing that you cried about?
The last thing that I cried about?
The last thing you cried.
Like heavily cried about was that I wanted to be home. I actually was listening to it's by Love. Uh,
Yeah.
I just wanna go home, wanna go home, wanna go home, home.
Oh yeah.
And uh, I'm so tired of love songs. Tired of love songs is the name of that. But I heard him say that, and then like I just had like these repeating images of playing baseball, like being on the mound, or uh, you know, up to bat or whatever. And uh, yeah, I just kind of started crying because it was like I feel like there's so very few and far between places that while you're in them, nothing else around you matters at all. Like you are perfectly safe to be entirely who you are, and if the world was crashing around you, like literally blowing the fuck up around you, like it wouldn't matter, because that is all, like that's the most, that's everything to you in that moment. And yeah, I feel like that so few and far between now. Where it's like even if I took a vacation, like I took a month off, like I don't know if at a point in that month I like would be think I would can stop thinking about having to go back to work or what I would need to do, or
Yeah.
like there's just so many responsibilities and things to be attended to, and that that doesn't seem to exist, you know.
One of the things that like I'm really grateful from having to learn through church, but I also resent a little bit
Mm.
because it is like presented as like a woman's job,
Mm.
but I'm still grateful for the knowledge of how to do it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
is making a home. Like they believe that the woman is responsible for creating a space that feels peaceful, that feels like a safe haven from the world, that feels like the one true place where you can be yourself and have like love in your heart and just like how that's done, right?
Mm.
And so I think it is a really beautiful thing to prioritize like making where you live your home
Mm.
and making it feel in your heart like home.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that should like it should be on both parties,
I agree.
but
Not a
it
lot of
will.
people are like consciously deciding like, you know what, like if we do maintain a level of cleanliness here and if we do learn how to communicate in positive, healthy ways,
Mm-hmm.
then like this is what's gonna make us feel happy in this space.
Yeah.
Like you're not really intentional about it like that usually.
Right. Well, yeah. I think what you're suggesting there is that like that's a mutually agreed upon way of building a safe haven in a home, and it and you what you might be getting at is that like it it is a good thing, but also slightly a burden that you're saying the church is saying that's the woman's responsibility to like push that narrative.
Yeah.
Or yeah, no, I think it should be both. It should be mutually agreed upon for sure. But I also agree that it's not really something that I have sat down and discussed with somebody. I don't
No,
I don't
like
remember sitting down.
nobody's teaching men. Like the men are like, okay, it's your responsibility to provide and protect,
Yeah.
right? Like that's the standard. Nobody's sitting down with a guy and being like, hey, you know, if you show yourself in your space, if you're expressing yourself, if you choose art that means something to you and you put it on display
Mm.
and you invest in things that bring you comfort and bring them into your space,
Mm.
you will feel more peaceful at home. Like
For
that's
sure.
why guys are always like, I love to have a woman's touch in my space. Like it's
Yeah.
because they're not getting taught how to do that.
Yeah. No, exactly. Like I do. I like I do like the things that are in my room. I mean, can't really see them on this at at the moment. But
yeah. I mean, you got your teddy and your cool comfort and you're showing
that's your take.
and you're, well, yeah.
that's Abby's
You
take.
share is like the main thing. Like I could tell, like you know, you invested in that like thing that brings you comfort and aesthetic and like.
Right.
It is a good
plugged
investment.
in. It's not even lit up. Maybe another time, but yeah, it's not. Yeah, I would not. I would say was never like taught to consider those things. You know, like at all. But yeah, I don't think it's weakness. I don't think it's weakness to want to be able to express yourself in whatever way that looks like, as long as it's in like a positive way, or in like a home building way, like you're talking about.
Yeah, I think it's healthy that you value having a home somewhere you belong.
Yeah. I also don't think it's necessarily unhealthy to express your unhealthy emotions. I think there is a healthy way to express unhealthy emotions. You know what I mean? I don't think being angry or wanting to like rage at the world and scream at the top of your lungs is a problem, or go and destroy things like that. There's a whole business for that. Like, I think there are healthy ways that you can go about expressing unhealthy things.
Yeah, that's true. Like music is the main one. We've been
Music
singing,
for sure.
thinking of you. Like it's very toxic to be thinking about your ex while you're kissing your boyfriend.
That is jokingly, but yeah, like.
But the music is good.
Yeah, for sure. Like I do have songs for every mood, dude. Like right now, like if I was to say my exact mood based on my favorite bands or my favorite artists, it'd be "Let You Down" by NF and "Dear Agony" by Breaking Benjamin. That would be my top two for how I feel right now. But I could argue that a week from now, I might wake up and it might be "Green Lights" by NF and "Awaken" by Breaking Benjamin. You know, same. If we're going with the same. Yeah. There's a song for every mood for sure. But yeah, maybe thinking about your ex while you're hanging out with Tim. Nice. Not the best way of going about things. But
I'll let you keep reading for a second.
Okay. What is the bravest thing you've ever said? Asked the boy. Help, said the horse. When have you been at your strongest? Asked the boy. And I have dared to show my weakness. So, kind of what we were just talking about. Asking for help isn't giving up, said the horse. It's refusing to give up, which is cool. Sometimes I worry you'll all realize I'm ordinary, said the boy. Love doesn't need you to be extraordinary, said the mole. We all need a reason to keep going, said the horse. What's yours? You three, said the fox. Getting home, said the boy. Cake, said the mole. I've discovered something better than cake. No, you haven't, said the boy. I have, replied the mole. What is it? A hug. It lasts longer. There's an image of all of them, like, kind of just giving each other a hug there. Nothing beats kindness, said the horse. It sits quietly beyond all things. Sometimes, said the horse. Sometimes what? Asked the boy. Sometimes just getting up and carrying on is brave and magnificent. How do they look so together and perfect? Asked the boy. There's a lot of frantic paddling going on beneath, said the horse. The greatest illusion, said the mole, is that life should be perfect. And then he wrote down here, my dog walked over the drawing, clearly trying to make the point. So I feel like I gotta show that. So the previous page was, how do they look so together and perfect? And there's ducks on the water. And then the greatest illusion, said the mole, is that life, should be perfect. Is it the moon? Asked the boy. It is a teacup stain, said the mole. And where Where there's tea, there's cake. Be curious. Life is difficult, but you are loved. So you know all about me, asked the boy. Yes, said the horse. And you still love me? We love you all the more. Sometimes I think you believe in me more than I do, said the boy. You'll catch up, said the horse. The fox never really speaks, whispered the boy. No, and it's lovely he is with us, said the horse. To be honest, I often feel I have nothing interesting to say, said the fox. Being honest is always interesting, said the horse. There's something I haven't told you, said the horse. What's that? Said the boy. I can fly, but I stopped because it made other horses jealous. Well, we love you, whether you can fly or not. I've just got kind of like an image of a horse with wings. And then it says, okay. And then now we're in black and white. And then, what appears to be flying. Is your glass half empty or half full? Asked the mole. I think I'm grateful to have a glass, said the boy. I don't think I've ever heard it. I don't think I've ever heard anybody put it that way. Is your glass half empty or half full? I'm just glad to have a glass. That sounds like a half full mentality.
Yeah.
If I'm being like kind of real about it, but hey, we don't know about tomorrow, said the horse. All we need to know is that we love each other. When the dark clouds come, keep going. When the big things feel out of control, focus on what you love right under your nose. This storm will pass. After the storm, we have such a long way to go, sighed the boy. Yes, but look how far we've come, said the horse. Sometimes I want to say I love you all, said the mole, but I find it difficult. Do you? Said the boy. Yes, so I say something like, I'm glad we're all here. Okay, said the boy. I'm glad we are all here. We are so glad you are here too. What's your best discovery? Asked the mole. That I am enough as I am, said the boy.
I liked the last little part right before that. Like,
No, yeah.
that there's so many different ways to say I love you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, there's countless ways of expressing I love you. It just, you hope that, kind of like the mole, that the company that you're in feels the same way about it as you do, you know?
Yeah, I think it's like really nice to intentionally try to hear that somebody else is trying to say I love you with through their actions or with what they're actually saying. Just recognizing it as like, oh, they're expressing love for me right now.
Yeah, because what I like about this little interaction was just simply that the boy said okay, and then it's followed by I'm glad we are all here. We are so glad you are here too. Like,
yeah, like I see you're expressing love through this way, and because that's what you're comfortable with, I will express it that way too.
yeah, like I'm immediately meeting them where they are, which is like, yeah, I don't know. He's trying to express his love and then receives love in his own way. Like that's yeah, it's hard to beat. Hard to beat that feeling, that funny feeling. I've realized. Oh, did I skip a page? Oh, that I am enough as I am. Okay, we're good. I've realized why we are here, whispered the boy. For cake? Asked the mole. To love, said the boy. And be loved, said the horse. And what do we do when our hearts hurt? Asked the boy. We wrap them with friendship, shared tears and time, till they wake hopeful and happy again. You have any other advice? Asked the boy. Don't measure how valuable you are by the way you are treated, said the horse. Always remember you matter. You're important and you are loved, and you bring to this world things no one else can. I have a little like personal mantra about that, like the don't measure how valuable you are, like basically that like intentional effort is not necessarily like determines your value. It's just a reflection of it, and never will somebody's opinion of your intentional effort be like your value, your actual value.
Yeah.
I think about it. I think about that quite a lot. Like, yeah, your intentional effort towards anything is just sort of simply a reflection of your value, but it's not. It doesn't determine what you are because you have so much to bring. And if somebody doesn't see it, like, it doesn't mean that you're.
So would you say your potential determines your value, or like what would you say determines your value?
I I don't think potential like determines value. I think just um, I think the like if I was to say for myself what I would say like I really value like I think that this is a really valuable thing about me is how much intentional like I'm saying intentional effort I'm putting into whatever I'm trying to put out. Like for example, if I was to sit and try to paint the Sistine Chapel and I just walk in there and I'm like fuck it and I put stick figures up there and I just walk out and call it good, like I wouldn't feel great like I put something of value out into the universe. Like sure I put something out into the universe, but I wouldn't personally feel like I put something of value into the universe. Like the times that I've really sat down and like really grinded away and put an intentional effort into something and like really just refined it and tried to make it the best that I could to my standards and like even if I was still kind of criticizing for myself for it, like I had put like enough time into it where it's like okay, like I can hold my head high on the fact that like I really did my best with this. Then to me that shows more value than like any negative feedback I could get about it. If it, like it, or being laughed at, like literally mocked as I'm saying it, like at least I know, this is truly authentically me, and I put a lot into this. Like to me, that's value, not potential, intentional effort.
And that's a good point. Yeah, like I see what you're saying. Like people can pretty much kind of tell if you have like put a lot of effort into it. Like it does reflect. But
Definitely.
they will. You're the only one that will ever know just how much.
Exactly right. Like for you to go out and play something on the violin, a violin solo, like I only get to hear that brief 2 minutes of the world where you have put it on, but I will never see the 72 hours of work that went into that 2 minutes that you put out into the world. Like, and maybe only you did, maybe only you did, and maybe the small people around you in that moment, but.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what value is more than potential. Personally, do you see it differently? Like the
I I guess like let's say you're not doing any actions, right? Like it's not action based at all.
mhm
Like who you are inherently is valuable.
mm,
How are we assessing that?
mm,
Are we saying you have to try, you have to do actions
mm,
to be valuable?
no.
Like how do we determine our value outside of what we do?
Like if we're talking, you and I were literally just sitting here saying nothing, just breathing, existing. There's no thoughts happening. Just like what, how do you determine that value?
Yeah.
That one I've always found that one difficult
Yeah.
because like something tangible is so much easier to give value to. To me, like, if we're taking away the action of doing something, I still think time is the most valuable thing that like that make the time is the thing that makes you valuable. Like, we don't know how much we're gonna get. We can't get it back. We can't buy more of it. I mean, maybe some like you can buy a little bit more if you can afford like surgeries and stuff, but
Mhm.
I literally just think like your time is the most valuable thing about you, like ultimately. And yeah, you can put a dollar amount to like what my time is worth professionally, but otherwise, you know, if I'm doing nothing, but we're sitting together doing nothing, like I would find you sitting together with me extremely valuable because that's your time. You know, you don't have to be sitting here doing nothing, thinking nothing with me, but you are. You chose to. So I don't know. I just that's how I see it. Maybe you see it
Yeah.
different.
No, I think that's a great answer. I haven't really quite figured out what I believe. I'd like to think that there's these parts of me that have worth,
Mm-hmm.
but
Certainly, there are many.
how how could they if I don't actually utilize them?
Mm.
You know what I mean? So outside of like I almost feel like if I am doing nothing that all like I am actually actively harmful, like I'm not valuable, like I am taking away resources from other living creatures, like you know, like I think that inherently like you do have to act in some kind of way, like you said, even if that is just like acting by choosing to accompany somebody,
Mm.
like you have to be doing something to have value, which I don't know if I feel like that's fair either. Like I don't know if I believe that really. So I don't know. I'm
No,
not sure.
I that's the thing is like I'm not. Yeah, I'm trying to test. How do I put this? Like you're not. You're not a drain on others or your surroundings resources if you like there's going to be points in anybody's life where you're asking for your surroundings resources so that you can empower your own resources, and then there will be times where you have an abundance of your own resources that you are going to inevitably turn around and give your what you have away. And at no point on either end of that spectrum are you not of value. It's just it's just the reality of where you are at, and there's no problem with either one of them. Neither one of them make you less valuable because you're just being real with where you are at. Like if you're at a point where you gotta sit there and you cannot do anything, which I dude, there's people that aren't on this earth that intentionally left this earth and that are still on this earth, and I would imagine feel that way right now, that they are worthless. There's no value because they have no resources to give, and like they might be draining the resources around them, but you're not, and you shouldn't feel shame or receive guilt just because that's where you're at.
I think so, but then in that way, I would think that the act of appreciating others sharing their resources, the act of showing gratitude, and the act of enjoying your life and being thankful for the experience of it
Mm-hmm.
is valuable. Still
Super.
think there's like an action there that you have to take to have it have value.
Yeah. I guess not even so much an action. That's more so just a thought. You know.
Yeah, but thinking is acting, right?
Yeah.
At bare minimum.
At bare minimum, yeah. Which I would. I mean, I feel like you're gonna do like any human is gonna do anyway. You know.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to shut your thoughts off.
It's,
Some people can though, isn't that wild? Some people just really not
Dude, like,
thinking anything.
just trade me for like a 24 hours. I would just love to know. It's like, what does silence feel like? You know.
For real.
But yeah, I don't. I still. I still think that even if you are sitting there, like literally from the outside, and I think that's something that the book is also mentioned earlier on, was that like how is it? It's so crazy that like all of the activity is actually happening within. You know.
Yeah.
Like I don't. Yeah. As long as something is going on, as long as your heart is beating and something is going on, like you have value. It's just you might be more or less capable, but that doesn't mean you're in like there's no value just because you can't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wildly off, dude, and I'm happy to stand like corrected or at least enlightened by somebody else's opinion for sure. Because ultimately, like I don't know that was my hope for creating this, and I don't know if you have a similar one.
Yeah.
Like,
To like hear other perspectives,
for sure.
especially on topics like I'm not 100% sure about. You know.
Right.
I don't know what makes us valuable. I'd like to think we are inherently valuable, but how can I make that make sense?
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Exactly. And yeah, I guess that's what we're really hoping for here. And it's nice that early on that like you and I can do it because I realize it's not going to be like a whole bunch of interaction here in the beginning, but
Mm-hmm.
the hope is that we can have this little chat box right here is getting blown up with ideas and thoughts and like just feelings, expressions about stuff like that. Because what I do find valuable is anybody's viewpoint on literally anything. I don't think there is a single person on this earth who is just flat out stupid. Like everybody has something to say or some knowledge or some wisdom to impart about something, and they probably know a lot more about it than you do. Like even if you think you know about it, they probably know more about it than you do. Like I think about our uncle Matt, for example. Like if you were to look at him and just see what he does for a living, which is like he works for John Deere as like a mechanic, and you looked at the guy, you'd be like, yeah, no, there's not like any, there's probably no like two words getting put together in his brain, but then you realize like, okay, he's building his own RC cars, he repairs pinball machines, builds his own pinball machines, he's out like building and flying RC airplanes, like, I even think about our dad sometimes too, like you might not, if you were to judge a book by its cover, you would never know how much value was in that book, basically. And I think that goes for anyone, really, personally. I don't know. Maybe you feel different. Maybe there's somebody that you think of that, like, is like that, where like you might look at them, and I'm asking you, you might look at them and think that like there's nothing going on in that book, but in reality, there's a lot going on.
I don't know. I think you're right. Like even people I have met and talked to for a while, I'm like, dang, you got the personality of like a cardboard box. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shoot, but they still have like a lot of talent in this
Yeah.
specific area to admire. So it's like, yeah,
Mm,
there's everybody has something more than you can see.
totally. I value all of that personally.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're actually almost to the end. Home isn't always a place, is it? It kind of just stood on its own, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Because the next thing says thank you. She says home isn't always a place, is it? Thank you. The end. X'd out. Look how far we've come. Sometimes all you hear about is the hate, but there is more love in this world than you could possibly imagine. This book is about friendship, and I couldn't have made it without my friends. So thank you, Matthew, Grace, Bear, Phil, Miranda, Amy, Emma, Scarlett, Charlie, Richard, and Helen, to name a few. whose conversations and love are so part of these pages. Thanks to, it looks like Cole, thanks to someone, the brilliant Irishman who helped sew this book together, often late into the night. Thank you to everyone at Penguin, Gail, Joel, Tess, Becky, Lucy, Alice, Ray, Beth, Nat, and especially Laura, who so kindly coped with me and my messy drawings. And thank you so much to you on social media who encouraged me with everything. Thank you, Sarah, Daisy, and Christopher, for your love and endless cups of tea, and to my dogs, Dill and Barney. The end. And the last, before I read the little ending, the last couple drawings are just take this step, which is interesting because it's saying just take the step over music, so which is a musical term. Then them kind of just all together, and then the back of the book looks like the front. And I'm not sure what musical piece this is, but I bet if you were to play it, we could figure it out. It says it's lively and in strict time, munter und straff, at 126 beats per minute, 2/4, with an F sharp. That's it. Looks like a piano piece, probably. It's based on the fact that there's chords, but maybe it's a piano piece or a violin piece too. I don't know.
Probably could play the top.
The top,
note.
or the bottom, yeah, I guess, because it has bass and treble. So I would have said that means piano. But.
Yeah.
It says Charlie Mackesy was born during a snowy winter in Northumberland. He has been a cartoonist for The Spectator and a book illustrator for Oxford University Press. He's collaborated with Richard Curtis for Comic Relief and Nelson Mandela on a lithograph project, the Unity series. He has lived and painted in South Africa, Southern Africa, and New Orleans, and co-runs a social enterprise, Mama Bucci in Zambia, which helps families of low and no income to become beekeepers. That's pretty dope. He lives in London. And his Instagram, if you guys want to go follow him, is right here. In very small letters. Charlie Mackesy. See? Charlie Mackesy. Oh, make it bigger. There you go. Yeah, if you guys want to go give him a follow. It's all right there. Alright. Well, that's actually a pretty solid read. Like, we just came in right at an hour almost. Well, I mean, at least recording wise, but right at an hour.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to say?
Well, thank you for sitting with us through this reading, letting us talk perspective, talk the book, explore our thoughts and feelings, and just watching our very first video.
Yeah, our very first one. I feel good about it.
Yeah.
And looking forward to a lot more to come.
Yeah, let us know if there's a book you want us to read. And if you would prefer to hear Jake read again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to read, but I built this for you. So,
yes.
Yeah, ultimately this is supposed to be your space, but yeah,
We'll crack into a short fan fiction next. I just gotta decide which one and how inappropriate I want it to be.
Smut factor. Yeah, totally. Yes. Yeah, I feel like that was really good, and I'm looking forward to already watching it back. So, all right, stop it here then.